the rest of the five people?
Yeah,
You happy? Okay.
Yeah.
Reading today from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, texts 4 and 5. We'll just chant one of text 4. Buddhir Jnanam Asammoha Buddhir Jnanam Asammoha Shama Satyam Dhamma Shama Satyam Dhamma Shamaha Sukam Bhavo Sukam Dukam Bhavo Bhavo Bayam Chabyam Chabayam Eva Cha Bayam Chabayam Eva Cha Buddhir Jnanam Asammoha Shama Satyam Dhamma Shamaha Sukam Dukam Bhavo Bhavo Bayam Chabayam Eva Cha Buddhir Jnanam Asammoha Shama Satyam Dhamma Shamaha Kam Dukam Bhavo Bhavo Bayam Chabayam Eva Cha. Next.
Buddhir Jnanam
Dukam dukam bhavo bhavo. Bhayam cha bhayam eva cha.
Udir jnanam samoha.
Udir jnanam samoha.
Shama satyam dama shama.
Shama satyam dama shamaha.
Sukam dukam bhavo bhavo.
Dukam dukam bhavo bhavo.
Bhayam cha bhayam eva cha.
Bhayam cha bhayam eva cha.
Word for translation. Buddhi,
Buddhi,
intelligence.
intelligence.
Jnanam,
Jnanam,
knowledge.
knowledge.
Samoha,
Samoha,
freedom from doubt.
freedom from doubt.
Shama,
Shama,
forgiveness.
forgiveness.
Satyam,
Satyam,
truthfulness.
truthfulness.
Dhammaha,
Dhammaha,
control of the senses.
control of the senses.
Shamaha,
Shamaha,
control of the mind.
control of the mind.
Sukham,
Sukam,
happiness.
happiness.
Dukkam,
Dukam,
distress.
distress.
Bhavaha,
Bhavaha,
birth.
birth.
Abhavaha,
Abhavaha,
death.
death.
Vayam,
Bhayam,
fear.
fear.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Avayam,
Bhavayam,
fearlessness.
fearlessness.
Eva,
Eva,
also.
also.
Cha,
Cha,
and.
and.
Ahimsa,
Ahimsa,
non-violence.
non-violence.
Samatha,
Samatha,
equilibrium.
equilibrium.
Tushti,
Tushti,
satisfaction.
satisfaction.
Tapa,
Tapa,
penance.
penance.
Dhanam,
Dhanam,
charity.
charity.
Yashaha,
Yashaha,
fame.
fame.
Ayashaha,
Yashaha,
infamy.
infamy.
Bhavanti,
Bhavanti,
come about.
come about.
Bhava,
Bhava,
natures.
natures.
Bhutanam,
Bhutanam,
of living entities.
of living entities.
Mata,
Mata,
from me.
from me.
Eva,
Eva,
certainly.
certainly.
Itakvida,
Itamina,
variously arranged.
variously arranged.
Translation. Intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of the senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy. All these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. I'll say, everyone, please repeat. Intelligence,
Intelligence,
knowledge,
knowledge,
freedom from doubt and delusion,
freedom from doubt and delusion,
forgiveness,
forgiveness,
truthfulness,
truthfulness,
control of the senses,
control of the senses,
control of the mind,
control of the mind,
happiness and distress,
happiness and distress,
birth,
birth,
death,
death,
fear,
fear,
fearlessness,
fearlessness,
non-violence,
non-violence,
equanimity,
equanimity,
satisfaction,
satisfaction,
austerity,
austerity,
charity,
charity,
fame and infamy.
fame and infamy.
All these various qualities
All these various qualities
of living beings
of living beings
are created by me alone.
were created by me alone.
The purport is quite long, so I was going to concentrate on a couple of these. And so I will start.
Is this your purport?
I'm sorry,
Is this your purport?
is this what?
Your purport?
No, no, this is Srila Prabhupada's purport, but it's quite long, so I'm going to just read some of it. I wanted to concentrate on truthfulness and ahimsa. Satyam, truthfulness, means that facts should be presented as they are, for the benefit of others. Facts should not be misrepresented. According to social conventions, it is said that one can speak the truth only when it is palatable to others. But that is not truthfulness. The truth should be spoken in a straightforward way, so that others will understand actually what the facts are. If a man is a thief, and if people are warned that he is a thief, that is truth. Although sometimes the truth is unpalatable, one should not refrain from speaking it. Truthfulness demands that the facts be presented as they are for the benefit of others. That is the definition of truth. Now I read ahimsa. Ahimsa, nonviolence, means that one should not do anything which will put others into misery or confusion. Material activities that are promised by so many politicians, sociologists, philanthropists, etc., do not produce very good results because the politicians and philanthropists have no transcendental vision. They do not know what is actually beneficial for human society. Ahimsa means that people should be trained in such a way that the full utilization of the human body can be achieved. The human body is meant for spiritual realization. So any movement or any commissions which do not further the end commit, which do not further that end, commit violence on the human body. Wow, that was a powerful sentence. The human body is meant for spiritual realization. So any movement or any commissions which do not further that end commit violence on the human body. That which furthers the future spiritual happiness of the people in general is called nonviolence. And then I want to read one more of Srila Prabhupada's powerful purports involving the same words. Prabhupada he's given us so much in his books. We could take days just discussing all of these topics. I'm trying to find it. Please bear with me. Here it is. This is on the same subject of ahimsa. And we just read what Prabhupada stated here about ahimsa. And here, Srila Prabhupada, this is in the 16th chapter, text 3. He further talks about ahimsa, which I felt in this purport definitely strikes a chord with our farm community here. Ahimsa means not arresting the progressive life of any living entity. Here one of the things we're about is cow protection. Not only protecting cows, but protecting human beings, protecting all forms of life. So Srila Prabhupada describes ahimsa, another meaning of this word is nonviolent. So not to be violent towards any living entity. So he says, one should not think that since the spirit spark is never killed, even after killing of the body, there is no harm in killing animals for sense gratification. People are now addicted to eating animals, in spite of having an ample supply of grains, fruits, and milk. There is no necessity for animal killing. This injunction is for everyone. When there is no alternative, one may kill an animal, but it should be offered in sacrifice. At any rate, when there is an ample food supply for humanity, persons who are desiring to make advancement in spiritual realization should not commit violence to animals. Real ahimsa means not checking anyone's progressive life. The animals are also making progress in their evolutionary life by transmigrating from one category of animal life to another. If a particular animal is killed, then his progress is checked. If an animal is staying in a particular body for so many days or so many years and is untimely killed, then he has to come back again in that form of life to complete the remaining days in order to be promoted to another species of life. So their progress should not be checked simply to satisfy one's palate. This is called ahimsa. Om Jnana Timiranda Shaktina Janashna Chakshun Tasmai Shri Guru. So I've recently been traveling a lot. Too much for a good spiritual life. But in traveling, you also experience certain things. By remembering Krishna and Srila Prabhupada's instructions, you get certain realizations, so to speak. One is, that's very easy, is how much suffering there is in the material world. This place is such a, so easy to find suffering here in so many ways. On this trip, I had to go for an exhibition in the city in Nevada called Las Vegas. So there were so many signs of suffering that I could witness. This other principle we were discussing of truthfulness, it is there they call it Sin City. They have a slogan, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Why? Because they don't want to reveal all the nonsense that they do. It's a city full of sinful activities. Of course, there are living entities there. There's actually, I believe, a temple there. But a lot of unwanted or illicit activities go on there, from gambling to all sorts of nonsense. So, this one principle of religion, truthfulness, Srila Prabhupada explained to us there are 4 pillars of religion. So, is the doggy? Maybe. 4 pillars of religion. Truthfulness is just one of them. But he explained to us it's the last leg in this age that Dharma, or religiosity, is standing on. So if we can't be truthful with each other, if we can't be truthful with ourselves, then we're contributing to the decline of religiosity in this age. This material world means suffering. This is not our true nature to undergo the cycle of birth and death. Because our true nature is eternal. That we don't die. The soul does not die. So that's the true us. So it's unnatural to have to experience death repeatedly. That's one of the reasons why there's so much unhappiness in this world. Everyone must incur death. Everyone has to face death. Birth, disease, old age, and death. If you take a material body, you will experience those things. Undoubtedly. Rest assured. It's 1,000%. Sometimes even in this age, in Kali Yuga, it's become so bad that one of them you can escape. Unfortunately, so many people die early. They don't experience old age. And unfortunately, it's become so degraded, you may get killed in the womb. You may not even experience the birth. At least in that body. That's how degraded it has become. So, we have a lot of work to do in spreading the knowledge that Srila Prabhupada has given us. One thing that Srila Prabhupada taught us, he described what a learned man is. No one likes to be called dumb or stupid or you don't know. So, Srila Prabhupada gave 3 criterion for a learned man. Does anyone know? I'll read them. He says, a learned man sees all women except his wife as mother. A learned man treats others' money or possessions as garbage in the street. A learned man treats all living beings as he wants to be treated. So, our society suffers from a poor fund of knowledge. Srila Prabhupada has given us knowledge that liberates us. His knowledge frees us from the shackles of material existence. But the trick is we have to apply the knowledge. We can't just hear it. We have to apply it to our lives. And in so doing, we will experience more and more freedom, more and more happiness, more and more fearlessness. So, it's incumbent on us as devotees to share whatever realizations and knowledge we have with others, and to try to inspire or enthuse others to take to this process of devotional service. When someone asks you, who are you? You would say, oh, my name is such and such, or I'm from such and such. But really, who are you? Where did you really come from? Is this your only life? If so, then how is God so unfair? If this is the only life. As we just said, some living entities don't make it out the womb alive. They get killed in the womb of the mother in this age, unfortunately. So, if God is all-knowing, all-powerful, omniscient, He knows it all, why does this happen? If He's so fair to everyone. So a learned man asks questions, inquires, wants to know, why am I suffering? Why are others suffering? Why am I here? Why do I have to die? These are things, questions of one seeking knowledge. And I'll tell you a little secret. Who you really are is the servant of the servant. If you identify as anything else, I'm a king, I'm a kshatriya, I'm a warrior, I'm a this, I'm a that. That adds to our illusion of who we really aren't. We're all servants of the servant. We're all servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Krishna himself came on this planet many years ago. And he is here today in his holy name. So, if we serve the holy name, if we serve others who are serving the holy name, then we'll realize more and more who we truly are. So this material life, it means the desire for sense gratification. We want to satisfy our senses. Spiritual life means we want to satisfy Krishna or God, the creator of everything, the creator of this whole cosmic manifestation. And we're thinking on this little planet, in this little universe, that we're so important. When in actuality there's hundreds and millions of universes and hundreds and millions of planets. So this is God. He's so powerful. But we get trapped in the consciousness of the body, the mind, and if we don't go beyond that, generally we stay fixated in the material world. But we have the great opportunity in this human form of life to realize who we are, to realize what our true destination can be. And it is our duty as individuals who have been given this knowledge, as I said earlier, to share it with others. And the foundation of our endeavors has to be based on truth for ourselves and for the benefit of others. And we have to try to do our best to inspire and enthuse others. And in this way, little by little, we'll see that our life will change. There's a saying that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So our mind needs to be filled with thoughts, spiritual thoughts. Thoughts of serving others. Thoughts of serving the Supreme. And in this way, we will not only become happy ourselves, but we will also have the desire to always try to help others be happy in this material world. Our spiritual master, he gave us so much in his books, so much of his personal life. He set such an example for us to follow that his energy, his time was so filled with giving to others that literally to his dying breath he was serving. There was a photo and a video of him translating these sacred texts, these sacred scriptures on his deathbed. And not too long before that photo was taken, his body literally became just flesh and bones. He had lost so much weight. And in that condition, he came to the West to still try to help the fallen souls, to help his disciples more. He couldn't even walk. In the condition, he was carried on a palanquin. They had to carry him on the plane. They had to carry him off the plane. And in that condition, he was trying to continue this mission to enlighten the world and to give more and more knowledge. And so that's the example we have to strive to emulate. That we want to our dying breath, serve others. If we can pick up on just a little bit of what Srila Prabhupada gave us, we would be happy for sure. So I always say how fortunate we are, and we are fortunate. There's so much we need to be thankful for. And we have to train our mind not to fixate on the negative. There's plenty of negativity in this material world. But you can imagine Srila Prabhupada, when he came here, if his mind was simply fixated on negative, hippie boys, he cooked for them up to 20 individuals a day. He cooked, and up to 200 on the weekends. He cooked for them. He served them. He cleaned up after them. And he spread this movement all over the world. So here we're at one of the temples by his mercy that exists due to him. So we have to be truthful to ourselves, be truthful with others. Don't let our mind become a devil's workshop. Always want to serve. And then by doing so, we'll find that we'll be happy, not only in this life, but in the next life. So I'll end there. and open the floor for realizations, discussions, questions. Mother Donna Katie.
I was just thinking about this point about truthfulness, and then how you concluded with Prabhupada's example of how he cooked for just people coming off the street, kind of taking interest in Krishna consciousness. So in, in Bhagavatam, that famous verse, Srimatan Swakatam Krishna, Punya Shavana Kirtana Hridyanta Sarvibhagam Vidyamati Satam, that ends with the word truthfulness. And there Prabhupada describes that this truthfulness means being sincere in our motive for coming into, approaching Krishna and his devotees. So I was just thinking how that's why Prabhupada was so powerful. And that's why Prabhupada was so successful, because he was actually truly approaching Krishna for nothing but to be the pure servant of the servant of the servant of the servant, evidenced by his willingness to cook for a bunch of dirty people that were coming in and washing the pots for them and cleaning the bathroom. And most of us would not even think of doing that. It would just be I'm above that, Because our motive for approaching Krishna is for a comfy life or something. It's not really to be a servant of the servant of the servant. So anyway, I was just thinking that this quality of truthfulness is what really made Prabhupada so successful.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Mama.
There was a comment that you made when you were expressing about ahimsa, that this means that certain foods are made for the human being that are not required unless we're animalistic. If we have those desires that we can, in special circumstances, eat flesh, but that it can only be done with sacrifice. Can you explain sacrifice, what this sacrifice would be?
Well, according to my understanding, is that Srila Prabhupada, even the vegetables we eat, they're alive. So we're killing. So that is, in this material world, we need to subsist on some type of foodstuff that is alive. But he taught us the process of offering. Krishna said, offer me a leaf of flower, fruit, or water. So these are things that he's taught us, these things you can offer to Krishna. But in certain circumstances, there one may have to eat. In fact, I asked Srila Prabhupada when he was in New Orleans, why did Lord Jesus feed fish to so many people? And his answer was, well, there probably was nothing else. It was a desert. So, and he has similarly at one time instructed the disciple that he was sending to preach in a land that there may not have been many vegetables or food stuff. He says, if you have to eat meat, but preach. Share the knowledge.
So the sacrifice would be to preach.
Yeah, and also whatever you have to take to sustain your body, offer it to Krishna first. There was, when Mother Donna Kaylee mentioned Prabhupada cooking in the old days, why I mentioned it, and then she reiterated also. There was one story of a gentleman she was saying how, you know, the human beings that were going at that time were pretty disheveled and hippies and not clean and so on. So one man, he was so intoxicated, he came into the room where Prabhupada was, and he just kind of staggered up and gave Prabhupada, it was either a roll of toilet paper or a roll of paper towels. Toilet paper. And Prabhupada said his devotional service has begun.
Yes, I heard that they tried to stop him, and Prabhupada said, let him.
Yeah.
He came up and they stopped.
Yeah. So, the pure devotee, he sees everything in relation to Krishna. Here it is, someone's drunk. He's intoxicated, he's inebriated, he does it, but he's bringing something. Prabhupada is seeing this as Krishna. His devotional service has begun. He's bringing something that will be, of course, giving it to Prabhupada, you know, it was going to, whatever it was going to be utilized in Krishna's service. So, to have the transcendental vision is something that we need to have. We need to see, be able to see transcendentally. Any other comments or questions? Or? Yes, Prabhu. Of course not.
Based on what you said you asked Prabhupada, I was just thinking that if I had a chance, I would ask Prabhupada, why didn't Jesus mention to his followers that the cow should never be eaten? Because you hear all these preachers, in the Judeo-Christian scriptures, it lists it says you should not reject anything good coming from the earth, and then they list all these animals that are supposedly clean, and all these animals that are forbidden, they're considered to be unclean. It's just like this whole concept about meat eating is just like, oh yeah, it's totally sanctioned in scripture, you know, but cows especially, why, you know.
Would have been a good question. Probably.
It's like the biggest food in America.
One other thing Mother Donna Katie mentioned was about motive, and that's one thing I wanted to actually touch on. I actually written a note. Because you know, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 4 types of people approach me. The distressed, the desire of wealth, the inquisitive, and those who are searching for knowledge of the Absolute. That's just the beginning of how you approach Krishna. Once you approach, you should realize, you stretching, or you have a comment?
Yeah, when you finish.
Oh, okay. I was just wanting to make the point that I have a godbrother who often says, we can be without motive by declaring our motive. In other words, when motives are declared, then there is transparency. So that goes back also to truthfulness, being truthful. Don't hide your inner feelings, your inner thoughts, your inner desires. What are your true motives? And so declare your motives and be transparent. You had something, Mother Marani after. You want ladies first.
Well, I'm afraid I will lose its
Okay.
consistency because it would concern Jagwood Sunder's
Point.
Yeah, but I do want to express that I appreciate that statement about declaring motives. You know, I'll try to utilize that. You know. I remember Srila Prabhupada mentions in one place, I can't remember if it's a conversation or if it's actually in his books, something that had to be researched. The Prabhupada says that religious scriptures are often contradictory, and therefore one has to search out a self-realized soul.
Very nice. Mother?
I've always heard the one, like you said, you always proper, always do things others. You always should do things others. But the class yesterday made me think a little bit, because the Prabhu said, take care of yourself first. Because, when you're younger, it's okay, you feel like you can do so many things. Then when you're getting older, you're getting sick, and you're still trying to maintain everything what you did 20 years ago. It becomes harder. And he went into more detail also. By, you have to be, you have to be clean, you take care of your cellular, you change, you take care of yourself. You take care of yourself, then only you can take care of others. If you don't feel good and you're always cranky and screaming at everybody else like I'm doing lately, it's not going to work because you don't feel good, So it's important when you're coming to a certain time in your life there are changes, you have to identify that and make sure you take care of yourself. If you take care of yourself, then you can take care of the others.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. Very good point. Even Srila Prabhupada said that we have to take care of ourselves. Yourself is also a servant of Krishna. So, yes, Yogi.
I wanted to just say that Srila Prabhupada put an emphasis on taking care of your health.
Yes, for sure he did. Yes. Any other comment, question? We'll close with this one statement by Srila Prabhupada. He said, for I guess, and all of us, that real Dharma, real religion, means how to learn to love God. So that's what we're about. We're learning little by little, day by day, mistake by mistake, whatever. Just don't get off the track. Stay focused. But we're learning. That's real Dharma. How to love Krishna. How to love God. Any religion that is not teaching how to love God is not a bona fide religion. All religions that teach learning to love God are bona fide. And we're fortunate, as I'll conclude with how fortunate we are that we have the knowledge that Srila Prabhupada has given us about who God is, where he lives. He's got a planet. He's got many planets. Anyway, there's time, there's 1 or 2 more minutes. Manga, Prabhu, you had one?
Yeah, I wanted to expand on that sacrifice question. In past eras, past yugas, there was a process of eating meat for by whispering, as it was stated, absolutely not, no cows could be killed. But if someone insisted on eating meat, they could eat goat or something like that. But they had to whisper in the ear of the goat that I'm killing you now, and in some future lifetime, you can kill me.
Yeah. I
So,
think that is somewhere in Bhagavatam, you know? I remember reading something similar.
so that kind of a deal doesn't seem very palatable.
Yeah, it's not. I agree with you.
So similarly, same thing with plants and vegetables and so forth, as you were stating, Krishna accepts fruit, flower, water. These things are things that he will accept before we take his remnants. So it's important to understand that. He creates all of this variegatedness, and he's allowing for human beings to sustain their lives by taking certain things that he's created for our facilitation. And so if we deviate from that, then we create a karmic activity.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. May all bless Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Now it's time for, we'll have a feast outside. Wonderful food stuff. Thank you, Father, for coming.